Fathers. What moment made your life fall apart? The day my daughter first called me sir is burned into my memory. Not dad, not even daddy, just sir. It threw me off. But hey, kids go through phases, right? Then my 8-year-old started standing at attention when I walked in rooms. My wife just laughed it off. She's been watching too many military movies. But then I noticed other things. She'd make her bed with perfect hospital corners every morning at 6 a.m. sharp. She stopped laughing at cartoons, stopped asking for bedtime stories. One evening I caught her practicing salutes in the bathroom mirror. The next morning she asked permission to use the bathroom during breakfast, permission to get a glass of water, permission to sit down. My wife kept brushing it off, but I knew something was wrong. Kids don't just become miniature soldiers overnight without reason. I started coming home early from work without telling anyone. Tuesday, I saw a strange car in our driveway. Wednesday, I heard shouting from inside. Thursday, I watched through the kitchen window. That's when I saw him. Jake, my wife's personal trainer, had been staying late after their sessions every single day for weeks. I watched in horror as he made my daughter do jumping jacks in our living room while timing her with a stopwatch, made her stand in the corner facing the wall for dropping a crayon. My wife sat on the couch watching like this was completely normal. Sometimes she'd even join in the yelling when our daughter's form wasn't perfect. The next day, I pretended to leave for work but circled back. I crept up to our bedroom window and saw Jake going through my closet trying on my clothes while my wife watched from the bed. "Soon this will all be ours," he said, adjusting my watch on his wrist. "What about her father?" my wife asked. "Once she's properly trained, she won't even remember him. Kids adapt fast when you break them down first." I wanted to burst in right then, but I needed more evidence. I started recording everything on my phone from outside. That evening, I found my daughter crying in her room after dinner. When I asked what was wrong, she whispered, "I'm sorry for disappointing you, sir." That's when it hit me. I asked her where she learned this behavior. From mommy's friend Jake. He said real fathers demand respect and discipline. He said weak fathers let their daughters walk all over them. He said you're weak because you hug me and let me watch cartoons. My blood ran cold. This man had been systematically brainwashing my child while I worked 60-hour weeks to support our family. "What else did Jake teach you?" I asked gently. He said when he becomes my new daddy, I'll have to earn everything. Earn my meals by doing exercises. Earn TV time by perfect behavior. He said love has to be earned through obedience. I was seeing red but kept my voice calm. "Sweetheart, real daddies love you no matter what. You never have to earn my love." She started crying harder. "But Jake said that's what weak fathers say." I stormed downstairs and confronted my wife. She was texting someone and quickly hid her phone when she saw me. "We need to talk about Jake," I said. Her face went white. "What about him?" "He's been training our daughter like she's a military recruit. She asked permission to use the bathroom this morning. She started making excuses immediately. Said Jake was just trying to teach discipline. Said modern kids needed structure. Said I was overreacting because I was never home anyway to see how wild she was getting, but I'd already made my decision. I told her Jake was banned from our house effective immediately. She exploded like I'd never seen before. Started screaming about how I had no right to control who she spent time with. How Jake understood her better than I ever could. How he was more of a man than I'd ever be. How he actually cared about our daughter's future. That's when she slipped and revealed everything. At least he knows how to raise a child properly instead of spoiling her rotten. I grabbed her phone before she could stop me. The messages were all there. Months and months of them. Planning their future together. Talking about how they'd properly discipline my daughter once I was out of the picture. Discussing which military boarding schools they'd send her to. The divorce papers were filed the next week along with a restraining order against Jake. Now my daughter calls me daddy again.